Hello and welcome to today's session. So today we're going to be looking at how you can transform your classrooms and lecture theatres using Adobe Express, as well as touching on some of Adobe's other AI-first education solutions then as well. So thanks to everyone for joining us today. The webinar is being recorded, so as usual, we'll be publishing that to our YouTube channel in the next day or two, and then we'll get a link out to everyone who's registered for today's session. And there will be a Q&A at the end, so if you do have any questions, please post them in the chat at any time, and then we'll be going through them at the end then before we finish. So just to go over the agenda quickly, so my name is Mark Price, and I'm the Business Development Director here at Pew. Again, there's loads to cover here today around Adobe's brand new AI-first education solutions. So we're going to start by looking at what these are and how they fit in with your different types of users. Some are tailored for faculty and staff, some tailored for students, and then there's also options depending if they're creative users and also for non-creative departments as well then. So we're going to be looking at that first, and I'm very happy to be joined by Meredudd Jones from Adobe as well. So Meredudd will be showcasing Adobe Express then and how you can use that within your classrooms and lecture theatres. So really looking forward to that. And then finally, just a quick one at the end, I'll be covering some news on our upcoming event. So we're collaborating with Adobe again on an in-person event in London. So that's something you won't want to miss then. But like I said, just to kick things off, before I pass to Meredudd, so we're just going to cover some of these educational offerings and where Express fits into these. So Adobe are bringing more AI into their solutions, and this is just a quick slide summing up some of those AI-first solutions specific to education. I did go over this quickly in last week's webinar around Microsoft, but just to sort of set the scene before we look at what Express can do, and for anyone who didn't join last week. So just a quick recap on this one. So starting on the left, you've got Adobe Express there. So we know Adobe have been leaders in the creative side for many years, and we are familiar with the Creative Cloud suite of apps. So your Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, that kind of thing. And Adobe Express then, so this is their alternative product. It's a very handy creative tool when you may not need the full Creative Cloud suite. And that's why I introduced it last week. So it could be a good tool to complement your Microsoft agreement. So giving that essential creative tool then at a very competitive price point. So Express is typically targeted at sort of non-creative departments, like I said, so your languages, your STEM subjects, things like that, where, you know, users might just need something quick and easy to grab and start, you know, creating graphics, images, social media content, even down to videos and flyers and posters and that kind of thing. And I think the biggest thing with Express is you don't need that steep learning curve. So if, you know, what you typically have with your Photoshop or Premiere Pro, because they're professional tools, you know, it takes a lot of time to get used to them and to learn how to use them. So Express is designed then just to sort of pick up and go straight away with that. So it is available as a standalone tool, as you can see on the left there. Within HEFE, it's very reasonably priced. And like I said, that's what makes it a good bolt-on option to give, you know, all your users, so that campus-wide coverage then for Adobe's creative tools. And it does use Adobe's latest AI then as well. So similar to how you'd interact with possibly a Microsoft Copilot or a ChatGPT with natural language, you can use Express in the same way. You can just give it some simple prompts, and that goes off behind the scenes then and uses Firefly to create those live on screen for you. So it is a fairly new product in its current form, but the other two then, so we can see two brand new education offerings there. They've come out in the last few weeks, and Express is included within these two as well then. So the first one there, so the middle one, is Acrobat Studio for Education. This is designed more for your faculty and staff. So if you've got users spending a lot of time in Acrobat or with PDFs, so whether they're teachers with teaching resources or back office staff with contracts and forms and things like that. So this is a good package for them. It comes with AI Assistant then, so that's Adobe's conversational AI tool built into Acrobat itself. So that's a big time saver. You can ask it questions, you can ask it to summarize paragraphs and documents and pages and things like that then. Another thing, a fairly new thing there is PDF Spaces. So you may have heard, so it's Adobe's new AI-powered collaboration space. So again, if you've got multiple users or multiple departments needing to have input in contracts or other PDF documents, you know, if they need to review and add comments and things like that before sign off, that can all be done now in one easy to track place with PDF Spaces. And finally, like I said, Express, that's included within that package as well. So that's the sort of creative side then to more of the document cloud side of things. And then the second one, so first on the right, you've got your Creative Cloud Pro Plus for education. So that's pretty much everything we've discussed, plus your full CC suite. So Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, all that kind of stuff. And that then is designed more for your design-specific faculty and staff, as well as your design creative students then. So if you've got people studying for careers in graphic design or digital media or film and animation, that kind of thing, that's the kind of industry leading package of tools you want to be providing them to give them those transferable skills and ready for industry. And many organizations now are adopting a bit of a mix and match approach. So you could have your Creative Cloud full suite for your design staff and students. You can give the Acrobat Studio maybe for the rest of your faculty and staff, and then you can provide Express then for the rest of your students. You're giving coverage across all your campus then with some form of creative tool. And just quickly before I pass to Meredudd then, so one thing we did touch upon last week as well is with Adobe now, with the integrations with Microsoft, for example, you can set up federated IDs. So you can sync those users across to your Microsoft Entra users across to use in Adobe itself. So that way you're having, one set of accounts that you can use across both your Microsoft and Adobe estates, making it easier then to administer, easier to manage, and providing greater security then, so you haven't got too many accounts for different vendors. And that's one thing actually we're hearing from customers, why they're taking on a tool like Express. So the benefits it gives in consolidating into Adobe, rather than having those different vendors and different tools, everything comes under that Adobe umbrella. And again, if you're using Microsoft accounts as well, that's just an extra time saver. And from an IT perspective, it's a lot easier, but also from the users, so they get used to one Adobe sort of set of tools and interfaces then, so it builds their confidence in the tools. So that just sets the scene a bit with Express and where Express fits into those broader packages within education. So now it's time to head over to Meredudd, who's going to be showing you Express in action.
Yeah, diolch yn fawr. Thanks very much. Thanks for your time this morning. So welcome to this. This is the Adobe Express homepage. So this looks a bit different to what you're seeing when you log into Adobe Express. This is the K-12 version. So this is the kind of primary and secondary school version of Express. So if you're in FEHE, then it's going to look a little bit different just on the home page, but underneath it all works the same. Basically, this homepage experience is simplified a little bit for K-12. But down the left-hand side, doesn't matter which version you've got the same kind of ribbon here on the left-hand side. And you can just go through this blue dot plus button to get started with whatever I'm showing you today. So with a focus on AI features, we'll kind of try and have a quick blast through as much of it as we can. But these cards on the homepage do call out kind of the main activities you can do in Express if you've never seen it before. There's loads of guided activities in there. So if you want to play around and you don't like an empty page, then right now we've got these 12 days of creativity. So these kind of festive themed activities, which all kind of launch you in there. For example, this one. And then on the right-hand side, you've got the Learn tab, and it'll actually walk you through the kind of activities you can do, and it'll kind of teach you the Express features as you're going along. So if you don't know where to start, then these guided activities are a great way to get started. And this panda pop here has been generated using Firefly within Express, and it'll teach you then how to open up the Generate Image button on the left to then change the prompt, play around with the prompt, and just tinker with it. Going back to the Express homepage, just using the Express icon top left-hand side. Everything saves all the time in Express, so you don't need to worry too much about saving or even naming your files. Everything has been saved all the time. So my background is 17 years as a secondary school teacher, so there is no level of comedy higher to a 15-year-old boy than switching his neighbour's computer off and his neighbour losing all his work. So the automatic saving feature in Express is definitely something that I like pointing out. You can log back in on the same device, different device, and obviously, you get internet dropouts, you get Chromebooks running out of batteries, whatever, all that stuff that we know happens in educational settings. Log back into Express, same device, different device, doesn't matter. Your project will be waiting for you down there at the bottom of the screen in your recents. And then all the other stuff that you've ever made in Express sits in your stuff, this folder icon here on the left-hand side. Okay, so you've got the guided activities, as I said, which will kind of walk you through different skills within Express. So there's loads of those. There's also millions of templates. So you've got the templates button on the left-hand side. So if you like starting from templates, you've got an incredible range of templates and all the filters you'd need to try and find what you want as a starting point. Again, if you're new to design and want to learn how to kind of put things together, one of the things that we really enjoy doing with classes is pick a template and then pick it apart and then see if you can recreate it. It really teaches you kind of the design principles and how that got put together in the first place. Okay, let's have a talk AI. So let's start with a blank page. Okay, so if I want to start with a blank page, I'm going to go to the get started dot, this plus icon top left hand corner, and I'm going to go for just a poster. Okay, so here we go. This is the Express all-in-one editor. So this is the same interface you use if you're doing graphic design, animation, or video editing. Express also has two other editors. We've got the web page editor that you can use for digital portfolios, web pages, and we also have the drawing editor, which is a really nice kind of online digital drawing tool, which I don't think we're going to get to those two editors in this morning's session. But please reach out if you're interested in learning more about those. So here's the interface that you'd see if you're going to do any kind of graphic design, posters, infographics, but also videos and animations. And we'll have a look at that in a little bit. Right. So using AI in school, it's something that teachers are always like, I want to use some AI. I'm not sure. I'm a bit scared of using it. So how do I get started? So using AI in Express is a great way to get your feet wet. So we're going to be looking at generating images. Now, the reason that using Express is a great idea here is that you can start some conversations around AI as well. So kind of around the ethics of AI. So to begin with, Express is the only tool that generates imagery where we can tell you that all of the images that are used to train Firefly, the model used to generate these images, are actually owned or licensed by Adobe. Which means that images generated in Express are the only ones that you can actually know that you can use for whatever purpose you want. You could create something here today, even in the K-12 version, and start selling T-shirts with it tomorrow. You own it because we know that it's licensed. It hasn't randomly been scraping images off the internet, stealing other people's IP. So from the ethics of acknowledging and reimbursing the creators, then there's a really clear message there. The K-12 version also has some quite aggressive guardrails in place in terms of blocking prompts, blocking outputs. So again, if you're in a primary or secondary school and you're worried about kind of inappropriate stuff being generated, this is definitely the best place to be doing that as well. Okay, What are we going to generate? Well, the thing is, we're in the early days of AI generation, and and it reminds me of when we first had Google Earth. You know, when we first had Google Earth, and what was the first place you went to find on Google Earth when you first had it? Go on, tell me. Come on. What was the first place you went looking for?
It was always your own house, wasn't it?
It's your own house. You can go to any street and look at any street anywhere in the world, and we all went and looked at our own house. We were probably sitting in the house when we were looking at it, you know? And I think we're doing the same with image generation at the moment. We're trying to generate stuff which maybe already exists, and then we're like, oh, that's not exactly what I wanted. So, you know, if you want to teach your kids to use generative AI, create things that maybe are impossible. So photos from 2,000 years ago when cameras didn't exist. You know, I've seen some great examples of reimagining Pompeii before the volcano, that kind of thing. But a great one for us here in Wales is, you know, we've got so many myths and legends here. And also I love idioms, right? So I'm going to go to media on the left-hand side. And under media, I want a photo of my favourite Welsh idiom. Now, my favourite Welsh idiom is dyfal donk a dir y garreg, right? And translated in English, that means slow tapping will break the stone. All right. And it basically means if you've got this big problem, if you keep tapping away at it, eventually you're going to crack it. Okay. So I could go into the photos. So obviously you've got access to the whole Adobe stock media library through Express. Which is incredible. Say sending your kids out into the Wild West of Google Images, finding stuff that's, you know, copyrighted, inappropriate, or just low quality, or, you know, the holy trinity of bad design lessons. So I could search in here for something like tapping a big stone, right? But I don't think this isn't gonna bring me, no, this isn't gonna give me what I want here at all. All right, so this is a perfect example of where I'd want to generate something. So let's click on generate image in Express. Now, because we're generating it, we can actually choose the dimensions of this image as well. So I'll go with square. And now we can type our description in here. So maybe I want a small girl tapping a large cracked boulder with a small hammer. Okay, cool. Right, so that's what I'd like to generate. Where is she going to be? I don't know. In a forest. No, on a beach. Okay. On a beach. Okay, right. So you've then got these really fun options here where you can choose different styles, art movements, art techniques, and so on. So I'm an 80s boy, so I'm going to go for synthwave in there, I think. And then you can mix and match them. I could also go for maybe kind of a cartoon theme with that synthwave art style. Hit generate. It's going to give you 4 results. You're going to see 4 different options. Now, obviously, when you're using this with learners, if they don't like those results, you can generate more if you think it's on the right track, or you can go back up. And this is the great, you know, the beauty of it is that you then get them to refine their prompt. Okay, let's see what we've got. All right, this is very, very synthwave. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to go with this one here. I think that's very cool. It's definitely giving me this kind of 80s vibe that I had in my head. So, now that we've generated that, it behaves like a normal image. When I click away from generate image in the top left up here, when I click on the X, okay, we're now just able to edit this as any other image. So you could remove the background. You can do things like cropping it to a shape, okay? And you could start building up a cool infographic of your favorite Welsh idioms. Now, what's going to help me with that? Well, what about some background images? So again, we can go into elements on the left-hand side. And up at the top, you will see design assets, backgrounds, shapes, icons, and stickers, which are animated GIFs. So if I go to backgrounds, let's just search in here for something like 80s. Let's see what I got now. So we've got 715 different backgrounds. So these aren't images now. These are specific background graphics. So these aren't AI generated. This is our Adobe stock library kind of, you know, show it flexing its muscles here. So if I add one of those, what's cool about the backgrounds is that it'll automatically apply it. You can kind of audition them really quickly by just clicking through as well, by choosing the one that you like. I actually like the one that I had first of all. There we go. Right. Now, let's have a look at a different kind of AI. So I'm going to go add some text. T for text on the left, add your text. And let's type in that idiom that I had. Dyfal donk adir garreg. Right. Okay. So there's my favorite Welsh idiom. Now, you can do all the normal text stuff with this. You will have recommended fonts, so it'll start scanning your project to see what images you've got, what kind of themes you've got, and it'll start suggesting fonts that it thinks suits your design. This one's quite a cool kind of retro one. Okay, now then, let's use some more AI. So this text, it's just in black at the moment. Now, we can do all the standard stuff here. We could change the actual text color if you want, but I'm not really fussed with that. We can add outlines, so we can try that. Let's put a black outline on it. Change the thickness. Great. But you've also got AI text textures. So up at the top, you can click on Effects. And you can see that you can generate text effects. So by clicking on this pencil icon here, we've got the same kind of interface here where we can describe a texture that we'd like. So maybe I want this to be a synth wave. So that was the style. Cracked stone. That's enough for me, I think. You've got some other options, like if you want it to be loose outside of the kind of confines of the letters themselves, or if you want them to stay tight within. But I'm just going to hit generate now. I'm happy with that. And what it's going to do is it's going to create 4 custom font textures for me based on that prompt. So again, it's a really nice way for your learners to kind of tinker and play around with prompt building, because I'm sure, as we've all seen, building up prompts isn't as easy as we thought. AI do read what we say quite literally, and we need to kind of think about how we deliver what we want to them. Right, okay, so I've got these 4 really cool textures that have just been generated for me here, and you can see as I'm clicking on it, it's then going to apply that texture to the text that I've got in there. All right, nice. I think now that I've done that, I prefer the outline to be white. So even though you've just kind of got that generated texture on there, it's still a text box. I can still change the font style. I could still change things like the outline. If there's a typo in there, I could go in and correct it. Those of you teachers of a certain age, like me, might remember the old cool text craze that went on in the early 2000s. Where all the kids were using this website called Cool Text to generate their text, which was great, but it actually outputted as an image. And then when there was a clanger of a typo in the header, they wouldn't be able to change it. All right, okay. So let's play with some more AI. Let's have a quick look at our animate character feature. Now, you could get them to add in some text in here, or you could get them to talk about why this is their favorite Welsh idiom. So again, I'm going to go to media on the left-hand side. Now, this is going to be a video. Now, you could record yourself straight in. Okay, you could film yourself straight in. But I'd like to animate a character. So I'm going to go to animate characters. And I have got over 250 different characters to choose from here. So I'll go with, well, this one's fine. I don't need a background because I've already got that lovely background that I chose. Now, first bit of AI we need to speak about is enhanced speech, which is down here at the bottom of the window. Basically, you can have your whole class recording at the same time, making an absolute racket, and it will identify which voice is nearest to the device and filter out all the rest. So if you've ever done any kind of recording or filming with a class before, you know the pain of that. Either you've got to get everyone quiet while little Jimmy speaks and he's terrified because everybody's listening to him, or you take a little group out into the corridor to record in silence whilst giving the death stare through the window at everybody else that's raising Mary Hell in class. So neither of those are ideal. But with this, you can get everybody making a noise at the same time, and it'll get rid of all the background noise for you. Right, let's click record, and let's just record why this is my favorite idiom. Count me down. My favorite Welsh idiom is dyfal donk adir garreg, which means if you keep chipping away at a big problem, eventually you will crack it. All right, it randomly decided to use my phone as a microphone there. That was unexpected. So what it's doing now is it's, first of all, getting rid of any background noise. Now, obviously, that's not an issue for me in this room. But then it's going to lip sync my voice to this character's mouth. Now, I've used this from kind of all the way down in the foundation phase with primary school learners. And I used to use this at my school with my sixth formers, so 17, 18-year-olds, because I couldn't get them to talk about their own work without tricking them into it. So getting kids to kind of evaluate their own pieces of work, talk about what they've learned, talk about how they made something. I'm sure that resonates as something that is a sticking point in a lot of lessons. Getting them to animate a character to talk about what they've done, what they've learned. Oh yeah, they're absolutely bang up for that, you know, and even adults, you know, I'll trick a room full of adults to do it. So right, let's have a listen to that.
My favourite Welsh idiom is dyfodonc a dir y garreg, which means if you keep chipping away at a big problem, eventually you will crack it.
Here we go. It's super cool. All right. So what you've done there is this project started off as just an infographic, just a still graphic, and now it's actually a video project. And if you want to do any video editing, once your learners have learned the interface and what all these buttons do, well, not even all of them, what a few of these buttons can do, progressing that on to a video project is super easy. It just adds a timeline at the bottom. Right, I think I'm out of time, but I'll just talk to you about sharing super quick. So once you've done this, how do you get it out? Okay, so you've got plenty of options up on the top right. So you can obviously download as a video file. If I wanted this to just be a printable, we can print it out as a PDF. But also, if you don't want to faff around with downloading files and kind of file management, especially with younger learners, then you can click on share and publish view-only links as well. Okay, so if you create a link, it'll basically publish this as kind of a published video on the internet. Anybody with that link then is able to see that finished video design. Right, I think I'm out of time, so I better stop there. Now, that was an absolute whistle stop of a few things in Express. There's loads of things that I haven't mentioned. So if you are interested in more, then please do let us know.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for that, Meredudd. That was really good. I think, like you said, showing how it can be used in the classroom and even lecture theatres, you know, across all education, I think it's quite a powerful tool. And like you said, that was just a quick look. So if anyone does have any questions or they want to look into it in a bit more detail, please just get in touch. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to leave these on screen. So we are an Adobe Platinum reseller. We have a whole team dedicated to Adobe. So we've got LD. So LD's been with us now coming up to 23 years, which is amazing. LD does some fantastic work with the customers in the HEFE sector. So please get in touch. We can go through what options are best for you, and if you want to look at rolling Express out maybe to a pilot group first, or rolling out campus wide, or even if it's some of the other education packages around the Acrobat Studio and the Creative Cloud Pro Plus, please do get in touch. And also, you know, the wider creative portfolio, so things that can complement Adobe, so your music software, your 3D modeling software, assistive technologies, all that comes under our sort of creative solutions then. And just quickly as well, Owen. So Owen's joined us more recently, and Owen looks after our school and non-profit accounts. Again, Owen's doing some great work with his customers, not only in Adobe, but around things like interactive boards, so your Yay-Link meeting boards, that kind of thing, Microsoft Surface devices, and those kind of devices that pair well with Express or Creative Cloud then, to get your users creating and collaborating together. So yeah, please do get in touch if you do have anything there. And final slide, just a quick heads up, Wales Week London is back. So as part of this, we are planning another Adobe event in London in February next year. So this will be similar to the one we did this year, if any of you did come along to that. It's been penciled in for February the 25th at Adobe's Shoreditch office again. And we're going to be looking more at those new education offerings and drilling down into some of those AI tools in more detail then. So we'd love to see you come along to that. And we'll be following up with more details on how to register for that free event then. And hopefully Meredudd might join us as well if he's available.
Yeah, I'd love to make that work. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. So I think we are just on time, but if anyone did have any questions, it's time to go through them now. I think Tom might just have a quick poll as well, so please, if you can fill that in. So if you've got any comments or feedback, not just on this kind of content, but if there's any suggestions for future content or things maybe you'd like to see in that London event coming up, so please just let us know there. So that should be popping up on screen. And while that happens, do you want to just go through any questions that have come through, Tom?
Yeah, so we've actually had a few questions in the chat. So the first question I've got, you mentioned about guardrails for students regarding safeguarding.
Yeah.
But what about the data protection GDPR side of things? How is the data submitted to Adobe AI used? And does this go into training models, etc., or does this have a similar arrangement to the Enterprise Data Protection Agreement in use by Microsoft?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so it's a very simple answer to that. So no student projects or data is used to feed into the training model at all. So the only way that your students using Express can feed into the model is actually if you want to report an image that's been generated that actually either is kind of way off what you're expecting to see, or if you do think you've created something that is inappropriate and you'd like to report that. So there's a way to report, and obviously that'll feed back into the model. But day by day, by just using the product itself, then nothing that our students input is used for training at all. Okay, so that's kind of crystal clear messaging on that, hopefully. Yeah, I was just, do you want me to go through the other ones? I've just got the chat open there, Tom, or do you want to?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I can see the other question then about usage limits. So you may notice in the top right-hand corner on Express, you've got your little avatar, like a colored dot next to the notifications bell. So under there, you'll have your generative credits listed. So the K-12 accounts, for example, have got 250 credits per month. And what I did there in generating those kind of 4 options for me, used 1 credit. And then when I generated the text effect, that used another 1 credit. Now, at the moment, those credits are actually kind of a soft limit on the K-12 accounts. If you hit 0, you will still be able to use the generative AI within Express, but it'll slow it down for you. Okay. Saying that, I use Express all day, every day. It's literally my job to use Express, and I've never hit 0 on my account in a month. So I think the main thing behind it is that, again, Adobe want to have this talking point of even if it's free, it's not free. You know, when you're generating something, when you're using AI and you're inputting a prompt, somewhere in the world, a computer is going to spin up, use electricity, generate heat in order to kind of compute what you want. So Adobe want to be responsible with that and don't want the community to think that it's an absolute free for all. So again, there's this 250 monthly credit limit on the K-12 accounts. When you hit 0, it's not going to kind of stop those learners from taking part in your class, because we also know how much of a pain that would be. But it just puts that thing in your mind of, right, this is a resource that I need to kind of, be careful with. There's a word that the only word I can think of is a Welsh word called tolio, which is like use it, but be sensible with it. So I hope that helps with your second question there. And the third one, the Express Media Library. So does this require licenses? No. So by using Express, you have access to the Adobe stock library. So the K-12 accounts actually only have access to that within Express. I would have to check this, but with HEFE, I think that also allows you with the same account to go to the Adobe stock website and browse there. I'd have to double check that because my work is almost entirely with primary secondary. But it's not a separate set of images. But the version I was showing you, the K-12 again, primary secondary, it's filtered. So again, it's a filtered subset of the whole library because again we want it to be appropriate for younger learners. Okay, so it's not kind of a premium, non-premium thing. It's more of a let's get guardrails in there so the kids don't see stuff that they shouldn't be seeing. Other training sessions, I know that Pew, that you obviously have all of your trainings as well. So my team, we also run trainings as well. I'm not sure if you want me to pop those links in or if we can share them out afterwards. Guys, I don't know what you'd like me to do.
Yeah, we can follow up afterwards if you want. Yeah, we can make sure that we share all the resources and everything available. Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah, and then is it costing credits to generate with Express? So again, you've got that credit allowance every month, and then you just chip away that, and it just resets at the beginning of each month. Then you may notice if you use Firefly that certain things have got a different price. So something will cost 4 credits. If you want to generate video using Firefly, then that uses more credits. And then, now that I've mentioned that, now that I've opened that can of worms, so generative video is not available for K-12 at the moment. Again, because we want to be really careful with what's available for young students. Okay. Any other questions? Please fire away.
Yeah. Does that cover everything in the chat at the moment, Tom?
Yeah, all good for me. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay, then I think I'll just go on to here. So we'll leave it there, but like Meredudd said, or if you do have any questions, please get in touch with any of us. Or if you want to look at licensing or anything covered in today's sessions, please do get in touch. So our details are on screen, or just get in touch with your usual account manager. We'd be more than happy to help. So yeah, I just want to say thank you again for joining, and big thanks to Meredudd for doing such a great job with us today. And hopefully we'll see you all in February at that London event. So again, we'll be in touch very soon with invites and registration links for that one then. So thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr.